Chengdu Hunter's going to be running the Sombra as well, but obviously they're running their own Ameng Wrecking Ball version of the composition.
And that is the least surprising thing you could possibly think of. Not going to be receiving a Discord orb here for the moment as Ameng just goes in for a nice little focus pile driver. Finds too much consistent damage. Now Wolf tries to get a knockoff. Won't be able to find one, but Lijiang into the back line finds Jonak now with an ammo gone. No supports here for the NYXL, and Oxalt getting rid of Keel is just not going to be enough for them to try to win out this fight. You would anticipate. Papa now going to be D-Mech, no D-Matrix. The first point lockdown going to be going the way of the Chengdu Hunters.
Chengdu Hunters just have that high ground advantage, chip away at the NYXL and grab that first cap. And I mean, they didn't even really need to do that much with Keo. Look at his ult charge as well, barely doing any healing. Well, there's a good
now he's doing some killing.
Yep.
We'll just go ahead and eliminate Oxalt. So he'll be doing one back. As shots in, gets the elimination on to lead for the red. Is crucially there, as always, by Yellow on this guy. I would love to know the average time that it takes for him to start using res from when his target dies, because it seems like it's within half of a second.
So Jinmu has this nice EMP advantage coming online right now, and they're going to have 6 ultimates essentially here. So New York need to engage fast. If they lose this one to 99, it's all over.
Yeah, that's going to be the EMP coming through, finds Mono, and he will get cut down. Lee finding that headshot right to retreat to safety until we get the Primal Rage online. Oxalt falling low, jumps back with the translocator, almost has an EMP of his own, but it's going to have to be absolutely massive. And crucially, Keo is holding on to that Transcendence to try and counteract all of NYXL's efforts to get onto this point.
And NYXL need this EMP engage to be perfect. They need to hack Keo if possible, or at least threaten to force him to trance early. Also, not good enough.
Out. Takes him low. He will get hounded down. Mono finding that kill. Hop going to be D-Mech off on the side. Use the pressure to try to make his way over on this point. Oxalt have to hold this EMP if he can just win out the fight, but he might have to pull the trigger on it. There's up the translocator, but it seems like he will be able to stave that off.
Here, look at the Chengdu Hunters just building a counter composition here to win one EMP fight. That's all they have to do. They brought Yveltal onto Lucio. Rare pick for him these days. Here's the EMP opening.
Yeah, managed to find 30. One of them is going to be Hostile, so cannot use the counter EMP. Hopbot going to be taken out of the mech. EMP now coming through Voxel. He gets no. He got absolutely nothing with that EMP. Sleep Dart now going to connect onto Ameng, but Voxel is already dead. Mono tries to drag this one back into a winnable fight position as Lee will get taken down and St. Yobi finds Keo. So maybe despite Oxal's blunder, they might be able to hold on to this point for a little bit longer. Going to be rejoining in the fight still now at 6% as Jinmu is just lapping him consistently and will not be taken down in Baby Diva form, so he makes his way back through. York Excelsior almost out of options as far as ults are concerned. They need an ammo to get the sound barrier online. They do crucially hold on to the point for at least a little bit longer.
Looking really, really nice for Chengdu Hunters. Starting to with ultimate.
Not going to be gone. Being forced out, Mono hacked. Low on HP, trying to stay alive, trying to get some healing over to him, but Yveltal with the Lucio doesn't manage to find that kill. Nick comes in as they break Hopbot out of the mech. Chengdu Hunters are back in control of this point with the OT starting to bleed away. Someone from NYXL has the touch. Finally, do manage to tag in for a moment, and Anama will drop the beat, puts that shielding out onto DPS members. But there's so much damage focus on the Oxalt, and the shielding just might as well not have existed in the first place. They take him down, Anama now going to go on, returns, throws out that Nano boost here onto Mono to try to keep him alive, try to buy time for him to get that Primal Rage on.
Hoxel cannot step it up. That is going to be a major issue. Right now he is getting destroyed by Jinmu in that matchup. That's a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people from the NYXL side of things can say like, oh, well, why do the casters keep saying that, you know, St. Yobi's got a good Sombra, and Sombra's not that good? It's historically better than Oxalt, is what I would say.
Yeah.
And I think that having them forcing Oxalt to run this is potentially going to hurt them in the long term.
Well, when you have to run both, you know, Oxal's not great at Tracer either, so
I mean, that's when I would probably try to go for a Nene St. Yobi lineup, but we're not seeing that. Now, off the bat, though, we will see Lijiang take it down. Mono with the pile driver will finish him off, but the solo HP that he does get eliminated. Lijiang instantly reds back into the fight by Yveltal, as we have come to expect on the regular. Oxalt unable to jump out with that translocator in time. It would seem takes the ball to the dome. Keo finds that kill with the points still unlocked, still not half. This very well could be Chengdu Hunters getting the first lockdown again.
it looks like it. They're going to commit a nano boost to the NYXL. They're starting to get desperate here.
Okay, well that's going to be 2 kills going their way. Yveltal not able to get a res off yet. Might still be on the cooldown since the last huge. And with Ameng falling, that is going to be enough people.
And then obviously a banana boost onto Hoppa helps those targets that are weakened get finished off. They're not running any AoE healing. Chengdu is implemented, so the post is actually really doing a number on them.
Now Bob tossed out on the point. That's it for now, but Young manages to kill off Mono with a rocket. So he'll be looking for an angle, tries to get rid of this bomb, but let's go ahead and retreat. Then I will take down Ameng. So Chengdu Hunters will go ahead, win out the fight, and get the point.
So this is going to be a really critical moment for Anamo. He's going to need to hit the sound barrier, as Jinmu is going to be very likely the initiator in this fight. They could obviously follow up with the Transcendence to the sound barrier to outlast that healing, and that's going to be a trade that's really, really important to watch here in this next fight. It's going to be a replay of, looks like a kill there onto Hoxall from Jinmu. Not entirely sure we're watching this, but meanwhile, they haven't engaged yet. They would need that sound barrier. Look, Anamo, 99%. Cannot fight without it.
Hoxall gonna be pushed out. He becomes through. He fights kill, even though he was already revealed. The no Transcendence to come out, and the bomb from Hoppa is absolutely huge.
They get to keep the sound barrier critically with this EMP engage, which means the initiation for Chengdu Hunters is not as potent as it would be otherwise. They still get to have that support ultimate used second. They can EMP into the barrier and then trance. They have that extra healing, but it's going to be a lot tougher here with the sound barrier still available.
Dio into Jonax. Waiting for their opportunity. Jinmu tries to get the hack here onto Hotbar. Won't be able to find it with a right click. EMP still going to be held in his back pocket. The hack still looking for a target. I think we'll find Hoppa going to be taken out of the mech, but they trade that back over onto the Young. Haven't gotten rid of that pilot form Diva yet, though. Yeah, another kill. This time Anamo falling. Chengdu Hunters back in control of the point. 85% of the board for the NY Excelsior.
New York's going to get 20-30% extra percentage when you do that, but you get to keep your ultimates, right? This is realistically about 1.5 team fights left that NYXL has. Huxall's been building his EMPs late. They know that. So they can kind of sit back patiently. As long as Kyo doesn't get hacked in the second fight, if his trance isn't used here, I think they've got a really good chance of taking this 2-0. They have the advantage now. Everything's in their favor.
Chengdu was spotted, holds on to the EMP. Ameng's going to be cruising around the point, down to about half HP. Minefield will get dropped in. Kyo pops the Transcendence to go ahead and clear those out, keep everybody alive, and Hoxall eliminated. Lee finds the kill. Crucial before Hoxall can get that EMP online. He's just 1% away from it right now. Will have to rejoin back into the fight. Mono now going to be eliminated, and this is the fight for NYXL if they want to extend this to a third final round on downtown. And Chengdu Hunters pushing up now, getting ready to be in overtime. Hoppa with an Anubis trying to stay alive, goes up into the air, throws out the self-destruct, looking for a pick, and will not be able to find one this time around. Hoxall's back in, he's waiting for his moment. Pile driver comes through, Lead will fall. EMP out, catches 3, Kyo in the back, going to be the first one to be taken down, and Late Young crucially cannot use that self-destruct to create some space to try and get a remake. NYXL now are the ones in control. OT will get forced out, but there's no one really here to touch. A great move away onto Ameng, denies the extension.
I mean, it's not as cool as it looks at the end of the day because, you know, it was definitely going to be over, but that was the final moment.
Crucial.
It was the final moment, yeah. That's what the second person to show up. I mean, it's textbook, you know, just like shooting people in the head, but you got to see a replay of it for some reason.
Pile driver.
All right, Mono's matching, by the way.
Yeah.
This is normally where he does play the Wrecking Ball in Busan. This is where you'll see him pull it out from time to time.
Had him going for it. Wasn't the cleanest play on Sanctuary there, but that's pretty good.
These compositions, if one Wrecking Ball gets hacked instantly, you know, the team fight can just wildly go in favor of the team that will obviously follow up and kill him and then, you know, stomp everyone else as they crash through. It's an insanely mobile composition. And when you're running the McCree as well, the damage output is actually just so insane. You get that first pick and you're no longer under the threat of a Wrecking Ball pile driving.
Sitting on the high ground right now, it's Hoxall spraying down from above. Kyo tries to keep himself up with that bio nade, but it's not going to do much good.
Now NYXL actually get to have the first EMP, which is disastrous for Chengdu Hunters in terms of their initiation attempts. You can see when Ameng has to go wide, huge, to stop the EMP.
Absolutely massive from Kyo, the sleep dart in the middle of the EMP. Hoxall shut down, put in the grave, 6 feet under. Sinyomi and Hoxall now going to fall, leave Rez back into the fight. And oh dear God, what a play from Kyo to turn that on its head.
until that goes off, and you just counter it with a sleep dart. You get to hold the majority of your ultimates. They have 5 ults going to this. They only use the Bob. So this is definitely something that Chengdu Hunters can spin around and grab victory from.
Kills out, controls her wrecking balls, a hack on the late yellow here for the moment. Chengdu pulls the trigger, throws out the EMP, will only find Hotba. Sticking lower and lower, they manage to finish him off, but the self-destruct will come through. It seems like he might just be able to, will be able to remag as Yonek does fall. Self-destruct from Late Young gets rid of an ammo, and things are now looking pretty good here for the Chengdu Hunters to be able to hold out on this defense.
I was going to say, if you got the Nano Boost, you want to switch to Winston, because Nano Boost isn't going to be that great for the Wrecking Ball to engage. It can give you some extra survivability, but it's not going to gain you an ultimate. If you have the advantage in terms of control meter, you might be able to get a primal. With that Nano Boost, you can get a lot of it. Look at that, 45 already percent, 55.
Yeah, and Mono is just surging forward. Hoxel is as well towards that next EMP. NYXL might just be able to close out this map for themselves. The Bob will finish off the Sombra here, but NYXL are now back in control of the point at 90%, looking for this finish, and they are pushing up towards the spawn room of the Chengdu Hunters and trying to shut them down. If they find Ameng here, no one can touch the point. He goes back into that ball form, going to be taken down to about half HP as they get the tag in. Jinmu tries to force this out a little bit further. It's not going to happen. Yellow picked off by the self-destruct, and NYXL, after a rocky start, will be able to close out Busan.
Well, no hog here for New York, not at least to start things out. They're going to run the Ashe Sombra variation here of the pseudo dive. You can call it dive, I suppose. It's dive-esque with the Diva Winston. Just trying to threaten Ameng. That's exactly what he wants. He wants to burn cooldown and escape. Look how easy it is for him to get away with no lockdown. And it's just a slow trade here, but the trade favors Chengdu Hunters right now because they have high ground position. Yamano and Hoppo really haven't been able to gain much ground. Ameng's no way.
Well, Yamano is a bit too deep, and you really have to show respect to them. Haven't been able to finish off that baby Diva yet. Sleep Dart does connect on the Molly as well as the Bionade, but they cannot get the kill. Jonax pressing forward, does get taken down, but Savioli with a wraparound on the other side of the hotel does get that kill now. No supports in the fight here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Lee tries to train it back a little bit. The Dynamite will get rid of his counterpart. NYXL need a little bit more, though, for staying power on this point. Hoppa pressing out around the corner.
The problem was Ameng was just a little bit too far away. You can reveal on point in the EMP and then come in with a minefield and set up for a Transcendence. You've got, a lot to work with. But if you lose that fight, you've traded everything, and New York gets so ahead. So it's just high risk, mild reward type of play, and they don't go for it.
Yep. Hoxel looking for the drop down. Hack on the yellow hole, cannot find it. Ameng gets rid of two with a minefield. Jonik and Zubilbi both going to be blown to bits, but Mono goes in with a final range, manages to dismantle the back line. Support's now gone for the Chengdu Hunters as NYXL look to break through the choke. Bob is going to be out, will not be contesting the card, but Ameng is there to do just that.
Ameng picks up 3, and it's an insanely good trade for the Chengdu Hunters. Right now, Ameng looks like he's in a bad spot, but let's just go ahead and grab this hack health pack. The hack health pack actually really helps Ameng because of his playstyle, right? He loves to go in, harass, and then retreat. People think of it as aggressive Wrecking Ball, but he actually pokes and runs away a lot. And the health packs that are hacked means that it's so much easier for him to actually do that, run away, and then come back in and harass like this. Obviously talking about his team's health pack, not the enemy ones. This case, it's not helping.
Soldier comes out, Sleep Dart will connect, self-destruct up over the top, looking to buy some space here for Ameng. Hotba with his self-destruct will manage to get rid of Yveltal now, can go ahead and remake as the res comes through from Anamo. Zimyobi's putting up around the corner, has the damage boost coming out from Anamo to go ahead and empower him, and the bomb is just wreaking havoc. Please, Jeff, give us a bomb spectator cam.
And the reason why they don't contest, part of the reason why, just to go further on this, is they're too far away, and Leave can't get that high ground position in the middle. And that's the toughest part of this, right? You can't quite save over without that. Now you get slowly pushing over towards it as best as he can. If they retake this, that's ideal when you're running this Ashe combo.
Crucial eat on that dynamite there from Hanba, denying a lot of damage away from Leave, and ensuring they won't have that bomb up yet. And that connected, he would have had that ready to roll, but it's still just a couple shots away. Got plenty of beefy targets to go ahead and hit with those wide hit bombs. Back out on the hopper, will force it back around the corner as the Chengdu Hunters begin to play down on the ground. Jinmu just going to be waiting to pull the trigger on this EMP. pretty much any target is going to be good for him. He's not as Zenyatta have to take into consideration. If any of the supports, it's still going to be massive, but instead it will be the tank line that receive the hack, but they cannot follow up for the kills. Jinmu now going to be swapping off of the Sombra, moves over onto the Hanzo, and the Bobby will come out crossing paths. Flash throw each other up into the air. Dynamite out from Lee, looking for the kill here. The bombs will just get traded out. But continuing to inch forward for NYXL. Still with 3 minutes remaining in the time bank. They can get through on this push. That is a very healthy finish for them. If Yobi gets a headshot on the lead, damage now going to be cut down considerably for the Chengdu Hunters as they look to hold out. Sentence inspired now from Molly, kept the rest of the team alive for the moment. Self-destruct will find Jonak. Very nicely called that over the top. Yobi receives the nano boost. Runs him over, gets Elsa as well, and now it's all on Ameng to try to buy some time for someone else to rejoin. He's falling lower and lower to get the tag and be able to, but he's going to get cleaned up as well. With the self-destruct lane in, NYXL will be able to glide into point C with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining.
It is going to be that same comp. Hunters, though, teasing the Pharah Widow. I don't know if this will be a long-term thing, but it definitely can work if you can get a lucky pick. Could steamroll through A with the extra damage.
Interesting.
They're going to stick with it. I'm a little bit surprised by this. I mean, it's Chengdu, so like only a little bit surprised, but a little bit surprised.
Yeah. Rockets coming down from above. Jinmu for now not going to be pressured. A little bit of damage. Gets the spot there on the city. Yobi knows exactly where he's going to be. Simply places a rocket at his feet, forces him off that high ground for the moment. At least has to wait for the coach then to come back up off cooldown so he can leap back up into the window. Nice shot, almost eliminates Jonak. First kick comes in for the Chengdu Hunters. Jinmu gets rid of Oxal, now begins to look for more. Barrage is just 25% away. Dive into the back line here from Mono. He's looking to get the kill on the lead with the peel. He's just too damn good. Ameng strikes him down. Yobi will find Molly. Chengdu Hunters now losing out on Yeah, they might yet be held off. They get a little bit of extra percentage here on the point. The res comes through on the Jinmu, puts him right back up into the skies. The barrage is almost ready to go. They can break Hotba out of this mech. It can be absolutely massive for them, but that is proving to be a little bit difficult.
Ameng's just trying to carry regardless of the bar or not. I don't care.
Might go down over the back entrance of the hotel. You can see Bravo take it to the skies. Flying around. That all ready to go. EMP now comes out. Jinmu going to be hacked into the barrage. Trying to stay alive. Gets jumped on. Goes back up into the air. Fell down to 3 HP. And Yamato keeps him sustained. He had as much health as you have MS, Wolf.
Well, I gotta say, it's starting to look a little bit better for the Hunters here, especially with the barrage being good.
Barrage goes out, Mono goes down, cleanup comes through. It will be the near wipe here, so Yobi is the only one left standing, retreating back, but the chase comes in, Lee gets the kill, and now he's looking for anybody who is split spawn exiting that subway.
It's a happy moment for the Hunters because they win A with Pharah Widow against a comp that has both Diva and the Ashe to really make this difficult to execute. They're able to find those shots. I mean, Jinmu survives with 3 HP as you mentioned, but there's always a but to use, right? The time bank isn't as insane as you would like to have if you want to match York. Now, you know, they're still on pace to have a time bank if they finish the map, but it's not as great as you'd like. And I'm still, I mean, further surprised by the fact they're sticking with this competition. Much more difficult to execute the Pharah in these choke points. If New York plays passively, they play back and defensively. It's hard for Dimmu to find angles where he's not exposed.
Yeah. Self-destruct down the top, but not going to find a kick. Close to Transcendence from Molly, however. And Ameng does it again. He gets both support in the minefield. Another double kill for him. Hawksall going back on the hunt. Trying to build up for that EMP, but he is already so low. Yobi picked off. Ameng is doing so much work right now for the Chengdu Hunters. And NYXL just have not really been able to contain him.
It's almost like the game plan here for the Hunters is to make everybody look off at Jinmu, and then Ameng just comes around. Like, hey, remember me? Obviously, these choke points on King's Row, the minefield is going to be so difficult to avoid. So if you get a nice angle with your grapple, you get on top of people, but at very, very low, verticality, you can drop the mines onto them very quickly. You get instant blow-up kills like what we're seeing. EMP here, not really going to turn the side.
Yeah, it gets 4 people, but he dies instantly, so can't go in for any kind of follow-up. The point gets capped, and now there's over 4 minutes remaining here for the Chengdu Hunters on the final stretch. I mean, know, they hold on to a Valkyrie, they have a self-destruct, they've got that barrage, so there's plenty of firepower here for the Chengdu Hunters to try to break through.
Yeah.
He's getting stomped. This could slow them up a little bit here as they get ready to go around this first corner.
Setting up for barrage is going to be difficult with, say, Vilby always ever the watchful here. He swapped over 23 and making it easier to find. Here's the bomb engage. And
Also
sets up the barrage.
Jimbo takes down two. The barrage comes in the safeguard way too late from Jonak. Also does manage to collapse on top of the bar to go ahead and get the follow-up kill. And with the faster run back, the spawns coming in, and YXL should still be able to stabilize despite the barrage looking pretty good for the Chengdu Hunters at the start. Yveltal now going to be gone. Mono does get rolled over even with that nano boost, so they could try to push back in here, but they're still waiting for Yveltal to go ahead and rejoin. A nice hit comes out. Jonak going to be eliminated. Rez comes out instantly, however, from Anubis, so still just keeping the playing field level. Minefield comes down. Ameng goes in. Pile driver doesn't get too much and can't get back behind cover before the Deadeye claims him. So a nice pick off here from Sabiobi, who's now looking for more. Rez comes out. Look at him. Yveltal is right up in the face of everybody against the McCree. Doesn't give a damn. Puts the hamster back in the mix of things. Double Struck now out from Hadra. Looks for a pick. Doesn't find one for the Pile nade. On the Chengdu Hunters is rather huge as Jonak goes ahead and helps pick up those next two kills. Sabiobi gets some on the back end as well.
Say Vilby here, the York Excelsior stabilized big time. I'm gonna swap back over to the Ashe now, obviously because of the swap. I want to get out of range. Among's got to be careful about overextending with some of these roll-ins.
And a boost out. Mono gets the primal online. Does get hacked and they focus fire him down before he can use that ult. They're going to be aware that he does have that as the hack comes through. You can see that percentage. Hacked out of the EMP! Absolutely massive from Hawkstall, shuts down Chengdu. Is that going to be enough for them to hold here? Hoppa's still going to be desuited to maybe even under fire. Hawkstall will fall, Ameng finds the kill. But crazy hack timing there from Hawkstall almost kept them in that fight. But still advancing, still get time for NYXL to try and delay first. The Primal Rage is out from Mono. To try and feel the big angry monkey, but they don't do it. He's not on the card.
We're gonna have a good defense if this doesn't work out. Okay, they do swap.
Slightly. I won't have the Ashe instead of the Widowmaker just that round. Goes ahead, starts to get some shots. Almost found Sabiobi there. Would have been huge, but Mono is potentially even a much bigger find. Again, gets the headshot ding onto Sabiobi. Cannot finish him off, and the res is there, as always, from Yveltal. I'm going to have to stop saying it because it's just a given. Lee finally does line up for the kill to get rid of NYXL's captain. Hawkstall down as well, and this is looking like a point A capture for the Chengdu Hunters. NYXL, they could string out onto the point, try and drain a little bit of extra time away, but it's better to just go ahead.
And the cart, you know, still rolling. Chengdu Hunters playing far forward. That's why they only had one on the cart for once. They're just trying to control high ground. Hawkstall looking for a backline hack here.
Spot up onto Molly. The hack will come through. Well, off screen, Sabiobi taken down, and Hawkstall cannot get the kill on Molly. He actually almost print that one back. Barrage comes out, not going to be getting too much value. The D-Matrix is there, and it was just a little too much distance for those rockets to fly. Mono still does die as he leaps his way up into the front line of the Chengdu Hunters. They kick him off cart, now getting dangerously close to point B. Pile driver comes in, Ameng nearly with a minefield online, has it now. Rolls forward, drops it down onto two. He's looking for a kill onto a Diva as well as a Mercy, two of the more elusive characters. Tries to push them back into it, but can't quite find it. The minefield's not going to give you too much value. EMP comes out from Hawkstall, does manage to get tries to make his way back over onto this cart to stop it from rolling into the point. They're going to be taken down as Sabiobi finds the headshot. Moments before, Goomba stomped out. Great Primal Rage hits them.
We're going to start things off with the Reaper here to try to win the war of attrition on A. Interesting choice here. Very strong once you close distance to that point. That's why they're using the Lucio.
Yeah, and the Lucio, they get the Moira for the burst, you know, AoE healing if people are clumped, so kind of just want to run at the Chengdu Hunters, but very elusive picks here with the Wrecking Ball and whatnot. Even if you get a hack on them, getting the Reaper up in range to really maximize the damage output of the shotguns can be difficult. Among rolls through, have the Pile Driver available, so just has to go through some primary fire damage. Pulls back in. Molly's going to be gone. A great start here as Hoxel finds that kickoff that had eluded him in the last round. Thunderblast going through, choked out Ameng, and it seems like NYXL might just have been able to break through on the first attempt here from point A.
Yeah, he tries his best, and that was the best he could have done to stall against that composition there, but this guarantees New York a decent time bank, you know, as decent as it gets for an overtime push. To try to set up for an advantage here, and they actually have the lead on EMP as well.
Yep. Mono diving in, gets at this corridor, steadily being popped back up. The Coalescence comes in from Jonak to go ahead and keep him in the fight. They get the D-Mech onto Elsa now. And suddenly things look very, very good for NYXL. They can get through this choke with little to no issue. And this is absolutely winnable for them with 38 seconds still remaining in the time bank. Elong's starting to play forward. Has that minefield, but he's waiting for the opportune moment to go ahead and drop it.
Yep, Save Bilby, meanwhile, almost has a Death Blossom EMP combo. You know, hasn't been historically a great combo, but it can work out. Here comes the EMP setup for Hoxel. They need to pull this out right now.
Well, that is not great. Already Save Bilby getting gone to bomb, taking him down. Hoxel throws the EMP, does find Ameng crucially. NYXL still looking to turn this fight on its head. Pile driver comes through, they push up into the air, chasing down and almost trying to get that kill. Something truck is going to be forced out from Elsa, looks for the pick, finds the Lucio. It will be traded out for Yebeltol. So I think there's going to be a massive trade up here in favor of the NYXL. Card now still moving forward.
They've got a Doomfist swap. They're going to have to look for picks. The Transcendence may be what saves them. They're going to have to try to time it here for after that Death Blossom. Oh, look at perfect hack!
Perfect position from Hoxel, the Bionate going forward. They're looking for the kill on the Ameng, and they have found it. Hoxel on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Elsa going to be taken out of the mech so far. The Bionate will be allowed to spy for a little bit longer. Hoxel staying here on the high ground, looks for the hack find. Chengdu takes him down the minefield from Ameng. Gets rid of Mono. Agba, the mech Hoxel. This forward orb taken lower and lower. Drops down and contests the card, has to jump away. The OT is plummeting. You can see how quickly it goes away. And with that final self-destruct, Chengdu Hunters have...
No Zarya, though, that's going to make it really hard on Anubis. They're still running the D.Va. Also, actually, doesn't get the hack there like he was before.
Yeah, he gets forced out of it there. On the backside of that pile driver.
That's all Ameng really has to do is trade the hack cooldown, leave, and then repeatedly slow down what York is doing. I appreciate kind of his repeated harassment of them.
Yep, rolling through, gets a little bit of damage there on the Hoxels. Anama will get picked off. Good headshot from Leave, shuts down the Mercy. Anybody else can do that much more vulnerable than getting eliminated.
When you run...
Dynamite, he's trying to get the shot there, but can't quite do that.
Chasing him further here too. When you run a Winston comp, you're always going to get big shield as the Wrecking Ball. Ameng, he very rarely drops below like 400 health in these fights. Great Dynamite there. But, yeah, I mean, he's just not even completely under threat most of the time. He gets hacked, that's where it changes. He gets hacked here on the side.
Leaf tagged up, Yellowball is there hovering around with about 3. Alive. Look at that pickoff. NYXL didn't really make their way to the point. Dynamite tossed out from Leaf, looking for a little bit of extra damage here. Doesn't find it, but Mono barely gets that final rage off in the nick of time. Discord Orb, however, still means that he is a very vulnerable target. He gets knocked down below half HP rather quickly. EMP comes through instantly. The kill is there on Namali, who had already burned the Transcendence. Lead, however, tries to bring it back. Managed to fight 2 EM duo on the side of the NYXL, going to be eliminated with something struck out from Elsa. Looking for a pick, but will not be able to find one. NYXL still not really getting much done on this point. Halfway to a single pick, and unless they can close this out here, that is going to go back down to 0. Hotba pushes up here onto the high ground. Elsa going to be stuck for the moment, pops back out. Pocket healing coming through from Anamo. Keeps Hotba in the mech for a little bit longer. They get the hack, they force him out crucially.
You can actually prevent the nano boost if he does get that hack off, but doesn't go for it. Oh, he wanted to get the D-Mech there, or remech rather.
It would have been a pretty brutal punishment because we've gotten that EMP now going to be shut out. Looking for some targets. Mono is a pretty prime one, so they go ahead and get rid of him. Now the hack is there onto Hotba as he tries to retreat, but without being able to jet around, he's just way too slow, so he does get taken down, and they have the follow-up kill onto him as well. New York, however, you know, a lot of ultimates getting ready to be online for them, so this is still very much possible with a reasonable time.
If they had gotten the Primal, you know, if he wasn't hacked, they would have used it. They would have actually committed to that fight there. They just hold the ultimates instead, only using the nano boost. So it was a good hack from Jinmu, the most important one in the EMP. But yeah, as you mentioned, they've got a lot of tools now. Molly's got the Transcend to shut down Huxall's EMP. So if he could get that right-click hack before, that would be huge. Look for Evil Dog, gets him.
That does get rid of one of the more crucial members of the Chengdu Hunters. Transcend towards the Molly to keep everybody else alive. The Primal Rage comes in, gets them all back up in the corner, and Lee will get cleaved down. Mono exits safely with around 100 HP. Stays safe as you get a break on the Elsa's mech. Finish him off with something from the top on into the baby as well. Like after 5, Hawksall comes the EMP, catches 2, Bionade out onto them as well as Ameng will fall. Dropping the bomb, looking for some kills, but will keep Hawksall protected, and that is enough time to go ahead and lock down the point with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining.
And Chengdu Hunters now call task here to match the time bank. They're starting off with Jinmu's Genji. It is Temple of Anubis after all. See how long this lasts.
Knowing Jinmu, the whole map probably.
Could be. Good chance.
I think it's absolutely dumpster, but that seems a little bit unlikely. Pulls back, falls low, steps back around. Playing Ring Around the Rosie right now with Mono. Using the window so he can go ahead and slide through there so he does stay safe.
Yeah, Mono can be that far forward because he knows there's no Sombra on the other side, but he's always going to have that no stun or anything like that. So he can lock him down.
No calls for the healing, receives it. Safe for now, let's save Yolby to take some dynamite to the face, but pocket kills are out from an ammo. Alive, move to the side. Mono just zapping away, looking to get that break onto Elsa's mech, can't quite find it, falls low. The help of that Discord orb now gets back up here to the top to help take down Chengdu. Really nice hits coming from the side of the NYXL. They give up about 1.5 ticks so far, but they might be able to win out the game. So this is very winnable here.
And they don't,
York.
They don't have a blade, you know, that's part of the whole reason why you run the Genji here is look at that blade fight. Jindu's just not able to do enough consistent damage here. Now Nana Blue's still powered.
EMP now out, able to the first one to fall. Bionade layered in on top of Lee. We'll go ahead and get rid of the enemy now. Chengdu Hunters again going to have to reset, try to come back into this. Mono overextended a little bit. Will get cut down by Jinmu, who now does have that blade online. And Chengdu Hunters, a plethora of ultimates about to be at their disposal, but they want to be as conservative as possible in using these so they can try to snowball their way over onto point B.
Yeah, that's the idea anyway. Blade is almost 100% fired here, but he's hacked. Can't use it. No, he's not yet. He's finding an angle.
This bomb from City will be considered to be better than the last one that we saw on their attack. We'll go ahead and digital leaves Bob as well. Now Ameng gonna be down. And the blade now coming out from Jinmu. Instantly fell down to about half HP, but he gets rid of Jonak to start. Looks for a little bit more. Finds Sapiolbi, but then will get cut down as Mono picks up a triple kill on the back end of the fight. The Hunters just haven't really been able to make their way up to that point yet. Jinmu's gonna be dropped down on the exit. Mono pushing forward, just zapping away the mines, cleans this out.
And he's going to swap.
Jinmu's
going to swap here. The blade was hopeful thinking. Obviously, you know, it wasn't working. And when you're kind of already used half your ultimates in 4v6 fight, you know, obviously the blade's not going to work. But, you know, if you get lucky, maybe things change. You've got a hero that can rush back in. But he just wanted to swap this over. But I think it might be too late here. I mean, they don't have a lot of tools anymore. And Grant here,
not great. Descendants use Oxall hack, but still just holding on to his own EMP. Self-destruct is out from Hadba. We'll get rid of the baby Diva.
I mean, they don't have any way to deal with Oxall's EMP outside of a sleep, which is, I think, why Molly swapped here. He's still unscouted, too, so I think the EMP is going to go off no matter what. Hacked already attempted, so they know where he is. At least the general idea. Oh!
Jinmu almost getting punished for lack of awareness. Dynamite blows up Safe Yolby, but there's no supports here for the Chengdu Hunters. They trade one back as Oxall will fall, but Mono leaping in, gets a melee hit on the Jinmu, now pops the primal range and go ahead and smack the rest of the members away. Sees how low lead is and he wants to finish him off, which he will. Ameng finds one. Alone point here for the moment of Ironfield, now one to be available. Goes ahead, drops that one out right as Elsa will get deep next. Pushes Mono away from the point here for a second. Hoppa. Taking out his neck, throws out that self-destruct, finds a pick yet again, eliminating Elsa's baby Diva. T going to start plummeting rather quickly here as the Chengdu Hunters try to hold out hope with just a single support alive. Ameng flying down along, trying to get out of... And suddenly Chengdu Hunters might be able to win this here in OT. Mono rejoins into the fight, however, managing to clean up too. Molly and Lee both going to be eliminated now. He looks for a little bit more. The primal weight is going to be on its way. He's 38% away here now for Mono. And you'll be taken down. The Evol's all dead as well. Yet again, no support here for the Chengdu Hunters, and they have to stay stuck to this point like glue, or else that OT bar is going to plummet just like it does right there.
An aggressive May McCree grind setup right outside of spawn. Chengdu gonna swap quickly to the Pharah and try to circumvent this by, just simply flying above it. It's very difficult to defend against the Pharah with the comp they've chosen, even with the McCree here.
Yeah, Silk could very easily get punched. Player on the but Yevotol is just gonna go ahead and get taken down. Jinmu is one shot away from being eliminated. It will be a slight trade. Jonak going to be eliminated here as Ameng comes around the backside and Bill finds Igyobi, so that makes it that much safer now for Jinmu to push out to start building up towards this barrage. Oxel will fall, and while I don't mind going for this forward hold here that NYXL showed, but unfortunately for them, does not work out too well.
Setup is there, the spawn camp, a lot of people want to call it, whatever you want to call it. When you see that, that's when, a lot of teams are like, oh, we don't have a great Pharah player. Well, they don't have a Pharah player right now, but that's really nice play on the McCree side, especially there at the beginning. It was like almost impossible for him to do what he did on that pick on Yveltal. Just didn't miss. He had one chance to. He died almost instantly afterwards to Ameng, but he got the job done before. That's a sign of a good McCree player who knows exactly where he wants to put his shots. Insanely good game awareness.
Ameng looking to go for that roll through, but will be forced to back up. Low on HP. Yevotol jumped on. Oxel finds that kill as the Anubis goes through onto Mono. Has that Discord orb, so Nano just going to be helping to mitigate a lot of that oncoming damage. Ducks down behind the cart. Rejoin in with the supports and fuel some ult charge over to the likes of Jonak. Going to be much slower now for the Chengdu Hunters. You're going to be looking to accelerate the pace of trying to get this car moving. Sound barrier gets dropped by a nominal Oxel, however, not receiving that shield. Gets an arrow to the skull. Jinmu takes him out, tries to exit, does manage to get his way into that stairwell to stay safe. Mono will go ahead and capitalize on that Hanzo as the res comes through on the leave. They get the enemy Winston in the end. Cart now rolling forward with a minute and a half remaining. Seems like, NYXL are just going to have to play back. As Ameng going for a nice little spy check there on that Mega Pack. Does not find him, but gets Oxel in the end. Igyobi, however, returns with the McCree. Gets rid of leave as Molly cuts him down to size. And it seems like this is just going to be NYXL stringing forward. Trying to go for, at least a Hail Mary defense, if not just bring some time away from the time bank here. Dragon Strike going to be rolling through to the center. Tries to get the knock onto a Namo into that Dragon Strike. Does Ameng, but can't quite line that one up. They're trying to go for another rollout. Does make his way up into the air. Go for the pile driver. Now going to be hacked. He going to be fight from the side of Hoxall. Manages to get 4 members, and the cleanup is going to be there. Ameng dumps the minefield as Lee finds 2, and this fight is all over the damn Blaze Wolf.
Yeah,
it's really hard to say.
It's to try to hold, but it doesn't work out this time, right? Chengdu do end up winning out. They get a few picks that Jinmu does with the burst he has. His Leafs can pick up 2, and they're going to keep pushing. But yeah, this is the other side of the coin, right? Now New York has few ultimates. They don't have sight lines controlled because they committed everybody to trying to stall, so that means Leave gets high ground for free. So that's where that 2K comes from, right? Like, no one can contest him. Say Bilby's running a McCree, you should probably swap, actually, at this point. So it was kind of an anti-Pharah. It's going to be a Tracer swap, actually, not the Ash swap in the match, but yeah, this is the other side of the coin, right? If you make that risk as New York, or take that risk rather, you're sometimes going to run into problems with a really fast speed push. But I think it was worth it overall, especially because they already had such a low time bank. Chengdu did. The risk was getting a full hold. I mean, that's the best case.
Okay, Nose finally get broken out of that mech, so they force the self-destruct from him. Hack is there on the Yevotol. Hoxall has the cleanup. It would still be very good for the side of NYXL. They look for the finish on the lead. Does manage to survive with the sliver of HP. Transcendence force from Molly as the cart is just in front of point B. Chengdu Hunters, if they can get across the line here, looking pretty decent for them. Would be half the time bank used. Nice little flick, and the follow-up from Elsa means that Oxel is going to be gone. Leave. Not found the best possible again, but Mono will be able to stop him out at the end. Going to be deep-necked as something comes out from Elsa. The bubble expires. Oh, Mono wanted that to last a little bit longer, but it does not. So he gets exploded. And now Chengdu Hunters, a net point B for themselves. And Ameng in a rough spot, tries to escape, but Ameng is just too damn good.
I mean, Ameng is just not gonna let you escape. Zabiobi looking for a pulse bomb stick here, it looks like. That's good spotted, so he's gonna have to back off.
Out, Mono, the recipient, goes in with a primal range. Haxel jumping up over the top, throws out the EMP, manages to catch 4 yet again. Been a very solid evolution for Haxel on this Sombra throughout the series. Rough start, now looking a lot cleaner. Good E onto the pulse bomb there from Elsa, denies that away from Sabiobi, so cannot fly to just go ahead and break him out of that mech. Dynamite goes in, and there's multiple members on the side of NYXL as Lee starts surging forward towards that next spot. Cleanup comes through, Cart likely to start advancing here yet again as Chengdu Hunters get ready to round the final corner. Yeah,
this is looking really nice for Chengdu here. Right now, New York don't have great ultimates to stall this out. The Veltal has this Valkyrie, which is why I think the Observers are highlighting him, because he can really push the limits of what this comp is able to do here, while also keeping the damage high with that Valkyrie when he pops it. Like, everyone's going to be able to do a massive amount of damage. New York swaps Haxel onto the Genji. That's a really risky choice.
Okay. Well, this is a pretty good one here.
I mean, you really look at this and feel like, okay, they got like Trance, Self-Destruct, and Minefield. Those are the 3 ults that are really going to be high impact. You think in this fight, Bob can make a difference, but Zabiobi's looking for a pick right now. The Minefield comes out first.
Bionade now onto Ameng, so he's going to have to retreat all the way around the back. Minefield does find Haxel, and I'm going to be taken out with the bomb here. The leave coming up huge, but will get sent off the side of the map by Mono, but needs to do a bit more than that with this primal range to stop the card from moving forward. He's getting ready to go into overtime. Ameng starting to clean up House. Hanba and Jonak both going to be taken down by this Wrecking Ball. Goes over to the side, spots out the Winston, working on taking down Mono, and he's able to do so. So another one claimed by the Hamster God himself. Rolls through, gets the shielding, goes for the pile driver, pops Hanba up in the air, so he comes back in with a Wrecking Ball of his own. Mortality Guild now going to be taken down. Sabiobi swung on by Ameng, gets rolled over. Also playing the point here for the moment while Ameng takes another little nap. But NYXL not going to be allowing him to push the card in while he sleeps. Haxel falling low with the blade, out goes forward, tries to get the hit on the Evil Ball, but Molly manages to eliminate the Genji before he can do any more damage to the team. Mono takes a breather, retreats over to the side, having swapped over onto the Roadhog, trying to find some sustainability. Dragon Strike rolls through, the Mortality Guild gone, Mono taking low, the Discord Orb onto the Hog, means that he is a goner. Jinmu finishes him off. Dive in from Haxel, goes straight into a mine with a seismic slam. He's waiting for his timing here. Throws a nice little spray. Slow and steady is the pace right here for the NYXL. Not seeing too much margin commitment for Chengdu Hunters on this defense, allowing for the card to move up. Pretty close now to point B, about halfway, or point A rather. Halfway there thus far, but Ameng finally finds a kill as Haxel will be eliminated. Pulls through, just getting a nice little gentle smack on the Mono. It's called dangerously low, but they weren't able to collapse to get the kill on the enemy Hamster. Ball-on-ball action here. Mono's going to be peeling back, waiting for the rest of his team to group up. And Sabiobi does get eliminated off-screen by Elsa. Yeah, I mean, in the chaos while Mono's tied up, there's no heal. Sabiobi just gets blown up. So, this is actually really nice so far here. Good start. A little bit strange to see Haxel come out as well on this Genji.
No one can hide.
It's a kind of anti-sniper strategy. Obviously, if you can get on top of Jinmu and Lee here, it's going to be a great time with the blade. He didn't have it yet. Minefield on the cart.
Papa going to be desuited. Doesn't have that self-destruct available. They both will expire in time. Rook will go right back on the assault. Dragon Blade available here from Haxel. Draws it out, dashes through, finds the baby diva, looks for a little bit more. Its reflection goes up, takes down Molly with it. Beautifully done from Haxel. 35 HP remaining, however, as the Reds comes down from Yamato, so that Home Killer is going to be back into the fight.
Ameng's still alive.
Tries to stay alive.
Veltal's insane.
Yeah, dropped out. Sound barrier comes through as well from Anamo. They want to close this out right here, right now to get into point A. A lot of ults being committed just to get this. Won't have much to use for the next stretch.
Uncomfortable Sabiolby looks here. I mean, he gets a headshot on a D.Va, but otherwise, he's not able to get 2 kills like Leave did early on their attack because he doesn't have line of sight advantage. He has to slowly push his way through. So that's why backing off sometimes, just giving up the point is the better move, especially when you're ahead like this.
We do have Imprecise rolling. Sabiolby getting jumped on, running out of places to go. Gets that mega pack and will be able to stay alive for a little bit longer. Only the tank's there for him to take some shots at, so not going to be able to break anybody down yet. Leave hovering around the cart, has that pulse ready to go. The chaos being spawns here by Ameng. Falls low, pops that recall, keeps himself safe. Still playing around the cart, which has not moved. And they will be gliding forward. This is looking like a very good time for NYXL.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it could be. I mean, B is a section of this map where you really have to win the first fight as the defense does not lose control of the high ground, but they are going to contest. Very complicated contest here. As you can see, Ameng's trying to get in the back.
Well, all going for the pistol. We saw a bit of this from him yesterday on this very map. Pick up multiple kills versus one into fire this time around, not quite going to happen. Ameng, however, gets a melee hit, takes down Sabiolby, but none of those three take too much damage. Double Ball will start getting chipped away at, but he is going to be allowed to be safe here in the fight as the rest of NYXL tries to exit on the back of Mono's death. Chengdu, however, pokes out the side. They'll get as many staggers as they possibly can. Seems like it's going to be both supports going down here. The Hunters now looking fairly stable, but just as quickly as I say it, Ameng moves up way too far forward, gets hacked by Hawkstall and taken down.
But New York, all it's going to take is one pick from Sabiolby, one kill, and things can absolutely go into their favor. Mono's got that Primal Rage, and they're just going to have so much healing to back them up. And look at this early trance, too, for Chengdu. I think New York's got a good chance at this.
Did have to get used, level 12 taken down. Pile driver comes out for the hack, greets Ameng. He is going back on the hunt, makes his way around the side. A great headshot there. Cuts down Anamo, and with 10 seconds remaining, NYXL, they cannot afford any more losses, including a D-Mac on Hotbox. Reds comes out, Typical finds the space to bring Molly back into the fray. Hawkstall now gone, EMP, not in the fight, and they can't touch the cart!
Can't do it.
Oh my goodness, that was looking so good for New York. Here we go, moving their way out. Symmetra there. Jinwoo's going to be swapping over on Kara now after boosting his team forward. Teleport. No Sombra here for the Chengdu Hunters, but maybe don't need it. Mono just getting collapsed on. Absolutely obliterated as Leaf goes up into the air. Puts a smattering of damage there onto Hawkstall. Can't quite finish it off. Goes back up top with the recall now and continues to go on the hunt. Gimeltol, however, crucially picked off first on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. That limits their options substantially. Ameng now falling low as the point becomes unlocked. NYXL going to be able to get the first lockdown.
They have the far better team composition for ult-based play. That's how Control ends up being played a lot of the time. You get that first cap, you get the first EMP, you know, you're lapping your opponent's tank ultimates oftentimes. So right now, Ameng obviously has done a lot more damage. He's going to get a mind kill soon. Something the flip is fast though. This is EMP top.
Back onto Ameng. They're looking for the focus fire, and he can't roll out of there fast enough. The plays from NYXL away from the point. Capitalize on these kills. Now looking for Jinwoo, trying to force him into traffic, but he's got the booster, so he will be able to stay safe.
But he's alone.
Still, don't manage to get anything on this point.
He's alone. He can't do anything more back there, right? He's got to get away. He's got to escape. He's got to wait for a Veltal to rejoin. He's back now.
Ooh. Really close call there from Sabiolby. Oasis comes out for some PO. Pulse bomb from Lead. Not going to be able to find too much. The Anubis invested on the Mono here. As he jumps up into the air looking to try and take down one of these pharmacy members. Lead, however, limited by Sabiolby. Former potentially best tracer in the world. Still looking good on this pick after, you know, a season of relative absence.
Yeah.
Shows that he still has the chops.
Jinwoo just being forced back here by Jonak right now. Doesn't have a great angle for a barrage. They'd love to have a teammate on to hop on to make it happen.
Minefield used, Ameng taking a nap. Tries to escape, tries to get out of there. Someone does manage to tag in to force out the OT, but I think that's about as good as it's going to get here for the Chengdu Hunters on City Center. Ameng goes back in with a pile driver, looking for a pickoff onto the flying one. Also trying to stay alive, trying to reback, cannot do so. Anubis now out onto Hotspot, who still holds on to that self-destruct. It seems like he might just be using it in celebration as the OT does start to bleed away, and there you go.
Eveltal keeps getting hacked by Huxall. Huxall's even translocating him for some of those hacks. You know, you need to get that first cap first, or you're going to have a really hard time. So that's why you see the 100-0 one-sided New York victory here. And Chengdu's going to play it safe on the second round.
Huxall finding the hack there on the Eveltal. He's able to peel back, and Namo can't say the same, however. Ameng finds that kill. Dynamite gets rid of Jonak. This is a very strong turnaround here for the Chengdu Hunters at the start. Try and get this first lockdown on the point. They'll get the mech here onto Hotba. Can't afford for any kind of staggers. Obviously, need to clear the point in order to get the cap. We'll go ahead and finish him off. And Chengdu Hunters, now for the first time on Oasis, are on the board.
Yep, and it's going to be a translocate away for Huxall there. Does end up getting a little bit of extra EMP charge, so he's not too behind. In terms of the ults, though, obviously, you know, the beginning of this, Chengdu's going to have the advantage. They have the point first. The next fight goes their favor. They're going to have a lot of ult advantage. And Ameng is building his mind so fast.
Building up pretty quickly. Yobi tries to get his way into the back line. Bionate connects on two on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. A lot of damage there out onto Elsa and Ameng. It was hacked. They will be able to stay alive, but the same cannot be said for the DPS duo.
Knowing the Huxall will have the EMP, they can then counter EMP. And you can see the spy checks going on right now for both Divas. One right-click hack onto the support can change everything. And Jinmu hacks Jonak, or Jonak gets picked. Yep. Then suddenly Jinmu has a really nice opportunity here.
Oh, freaking damage! Kyo! He's gone and pulls the trigger on that Transcendence, and Elsa, just for good measure, will eat up that pulse bomb as well. Fantastically done from Kyo. That might just be the foot coming back in favor of the Chengdu Hunters. Bomb up over the top from Hoppa, not going to be able to find anything. And Lee will go ahead and finish off the Baby Diva as well. A slight little lead here for the NYXL. A tag back in from Anamo, but will get finished off in the end. The flip comes through.
And that was the best he could have hoped for there. Shuts down the EMP completely. The follow-up there from Jinmu's EMP allows him to repay. Nano now out on the mono.
Yeah, they're looking for leave. They do manage to finish him off. Sound barrier layered in for good measure for the NYXL. They want that staying power in the fight. They want that flip. Also with the self-destruct, lobs that one out here into the side room. They'll be able to remech. Chengdu Hunters now have very limited resources to try and take this point back into the favor. Hack comes out onto Elsa. They press forward. They'll take him out of the mech yet again. As Yobi has another pulse bomb online on the point from lead, and he'll find a headshot kill on the Huxall. So they're delaying that EMP by a slight little bit. They're starting to come through there. Ameng is back into the mix of things, trying to get that next minefield online. EMP out from Jinmu. As they get the focus fire onto Hotbuzz mech, and we're at 99% here for the Chengdu Hunters as they look to win this one out. Eveltal has been taken out of the fight. Kyo now joining him in the grave. No supports available. No main tank for the side of the NYXL. Might not be enough. Flip is there, and now New York just going to be looking to defend. They have that EMP ready to go, and Kyo does not have a transcend.
Yeah, they've also got Nano boost. So Nano's going to give Mono the Primal. Huxall waits. Okay. He's waiting for a more ideal one. He wants to hit it as close to 99% as possible, so there's no chance for a retake. One fight only for Chengdu is what New York wants.
He's gone for this Ana, trying to get the sleep dart. The EMP still manages to come through. Flips on the multiple members on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. The Bionate was tossed in as well. Elsa tries to trade it back. Rockets take down Jonak. The sound barrier shielding just a little bit too late to try to keep that Ana in the fight. Sibioli goes to the high ground with a pulse bomb. Ready and raring to go. Just waiting for the prime opportunity. It's now 99 to 99. They dive into the back. Kyo alone, taken down. Ameng going to be gone. They have to stay glued to this to the Chengdu Hunters if they want to win this. If they want to take this to the third and final round. The self-destruct buys a little bit of extra space. The EMP comes out from Jinmu. Manages to catch two, but the follow-up is just not there. Anamo finds one. Huxall finds the other. The OT bleeds away. And despite their best efforts, the Chengdu Hunters are Chengdun. They are out. NYXL take the series 3-2.